Hey, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to sit with you mamas and talk about the 4 H's that this homeschool mama lives by. If you'd like to hear more, then let's get started. Hey you, did you hit that play button for the very first time? Well, welcome to the channel. I'm Tasha. This is Tasha Pivots, where we talk about all things mamahood and homeschool and how I'm pivoting through this journey. And I'm happy to say I feel more like myself lately. I've been just taking this time, and like the topic that I mentioned, it's been on my heart to get back to this mama heart that I've always had such a connection to. And when I started this channel, it's very important that it wouldn't just be the entity of being a homeschool mama, but really a mama at heart. And what does that look like? And how am I evolving and growing and pivoting in that? And so as I was sitting and reflecting, this is my planning day. I've got my computer, I've got books, I've got my big tall glass of water. I've even got my gratitude journal in front of me, and I've just been kind of just taking this moment as my little baby is asleep and my oldest girls are in their rooms hanging out, and just thinking. And the 4 H's that I live by are true to really not just something I made up, but honestly, as I say that, it's important for me to continue to come back to. As we evolve in this journey as homeschooling moms, as we evolve as moms in general, we will find ourselves in the peaks and valleys, right? There will be moments where we're really feeling like we're thriving. We've got this thing, that mamahood that we call down. We're doing all the things that we need to do. We're succeeding, we're soaring. And then there's moments where we've lost our cool, or things didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, or our children decided that today was the day they were going to try us, they were going to test us, and so they became disrespectful, or whatever the case may be. And then we either sit with guilt, shame, and we just feel like we just can't seem to get our bearings together. Like, it really takes us off our kilt, right? And so I'm looking down because my notes are in front of me. But with the 4 H's, I don't want to hold you too long. I'm going to make this pretty clear and concrete. And I might even write a blog about this later on in the week. I'm going to sit with it a little bit. If I do, I'll make an announcement about it, or I'll pin it when this video goes up. But number 1 is honesty. And you know that word that everyone's like, intentionality, authenticity, being real, being this. But I was like, yes, you can. Those are things you have to become, right? You have to become intentional. You have to become authentic if you really want. Are you authentic? The authenticity is a choice. All of it is a choice, right? And I think to really blanket it, it's to be honest with yourself. Honest with whatever it is that's happening in that moment, whatever has been happening in that season, in your homeschooling journey, and even in your motherhood, to take inventory and really think about, how are you being honest with yourself? And with that, I automatically tell you, and always want to suggest and encourage you to journal it. Journal the honesty, write down, put the date on there. It's for you to come back to, but it's also for you to leave it where it needs to be. Once you're honest, and whether you're mouthing it out of your mouth and speaking it and saying, this is where we are at right at this moment. It doesn't define me, but it is where we are. And I have to be honest. I have to be honest at how I'm feeling as a mom right now. And so I encourage that, just some self-talk and some journaling. Number 2 is humility. I feel like they almost go hand in hand. To be honest, you have to become humble. Because we can get lost in feeling like, well, I validate how I feel right now. I'm validated in my frustration. I'm validated in my anger, or I'm validated in my pride. But we lose sight of the fact that actually becoming humble is where the wisdom is. Becoming humble is where the growth happens. And so you've got to be humble with yourself. You've got to come back down, recognize you're still growing, recognize that it's okay that you're still growing, that you haven't failed. I don't care if you've been a mom for 2.5 seconds or you've been a mom for 25 years. Always recognize that you are evolving. And through that evolving, you will find yourself in constant rotation of humility. Okay. Number 3 of the 4 H's is hydration. And as I say that, I'm gonna take a sip of my water, because I believe hydration is not just physically, but it's also emotionally. You need to do both. Us mamas, we will lose sight of needing to drink our water. We will lose sight of us needing to nourish ourselves, because we're so busy trying to be and nurture and fix all for everyone else. And we forget that we haven't taken care of us. I think it's very important that you be careful. That whole analogy of when you're on a plane, you put the face mask on yourself before you can help someone else. There's truth to that, but be careful. And I guess this is where honesty, humility, and hydration connect. That you don't get so lost in making sure that you're all right, that you forget all about or that you need to do it for them, or vice versa, not hurry up and throwing it on your face, not making sure that it's fully on properly and you are fully being able to engage in your breath, because you're so busy looking to help and quickly fix whatever else is in front of you. Let me quickly get hydrated because I need to do this. But did you really get hydrated? And so those are the questions. Like, drink more water. Oftentimes we don't realize that we have the simple things that people take for granted, or we have the simple things that really can catapult us to the next level. Us drinking proper water. I mean, everything's about coffee, everything's about tea. Let's have our cup, let's have our mug, let's make it cute. And that's great. But at the end of the day, coffee and tea will not sustain us, right? And I know some people are going to be like, it sustains me. This is how I keep it going. But I'm just saying, yes, it helps temporarily, because eventually you become what? Dehydrated. So I just encourage you, drink more water, become hydrated in that, but then be hydrated and find hydration emotionally. How are you filling your cup back up? What are you doing, mama, that keeps you full, keeps your cup full and overflows into your home? For me right now, I have gotten back into loving to read, whether that's fiction or nonfiction. It's not so much about escapism, because I am very much present with where I'm at, but it also is allowing me to just be and enjoy. I love to enjoy a good book. So that's my way of staying filled up and hydrated, because I'm choosing in that moment, whether that is 10 minutes or that's in 2 days, or not 2 days really, but 10 minutes, or if that's 2 hours of me sitting and being still with a very good book that I'm enjoying, then that's me filling my cup back up for me. Or if that's a moment where I take an extra 20 minutes in the bathroom because I can, because either I've woken up early or I've just making that moment to just, get myself together so I can feel good for me. Or it has nothing to do with you really doing anything physically to yourself, but maybe it's about you going and being in amongst community, having a conversation with a girlfriend, going to therapy, whatever it is that's going to hydrate you and fill you back up. And number 4, to wrap this up and not necessarily in a pretty bow, but to wrap it up in the 4 H's that really sustain me, is being hospitable. And I was sitting with this word because I was like, hospitality, that's always about being friendly. And when you want to have hospitable in your home, you're always trying to make it so that people feel like they're at home when they're in your home, right? But are you home in your home? Like, that's the question we have to ask ourselves, is like, do we feel our homeschool is a homeschool we would want to be at? Is it a homeschool that we wish, if we look at our younger selves, our little selves, would we go back to that? So that's the part that all of these 4 H's, they are this acronym, or this main all these words start with an H, but each one has a question. If you've noticed, I'm asking the questions, because as a homeschooling mama and as a full-time wife, full-time stay-at-home mom, I do have to make sure that I'm being honest with myself, that I am being humble about where I'm at, and humble with where I need growth, to hydrate myself and stay fueled up and replenished. And then to be hospitable is to be friendly to myself. Are you your friend? Are you a friend to yourself? Are you generous to yourself? And not in the sense of self-care. Remember, I love soul care more than I like self-care. And I know some people feel like you can't have one without the other, but at the end of the day, I will die of myself. And as a believer, that's what I choose to believe. I die of self daily, right? Because my service and ministry has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with what the God called me to do. And so therefore, I'm being generous to myself, or I'm being friendly to myself, just means that I'm being kind to the vessel that God gave me. I'm being kind to myself in the way that I talk to myself. And so I hope that like, maybe I need to say generous to your soul. Are you being friendly to your soul? Are you nourishing your soul? Because soul check, heart check, those are the two keys, I think, as a homeschooling mama, that really sustains me and really keeps me going and helps me to get back to being grounded, because we can get so in the whirlwind, right? We get in this cyclone, if you will. So again, be honest, be humble, stay hydrated, and be hospitable. Those are the 4 H's that really carry this homeschooling mama in my life daily. What are the things that keep you going? What are the words that have anchored you? What was your word for the year that you need to maybe come back to? I'd love to see what your thoughts are. Leave those in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a warm thumbs up. And until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.